Hey everybody, guess who it is? That's right, it's your old boy SimplySuperDave coming at you with another episode of Staying Super with yours truly. Today I caught a nice YouTube little special, a little presentation on AI, and that's going to be our topic today, artificial intelligence. And kind of like the topic. It's going to be the central topic, okay? Let's put it that way. And the reason why I bring up this, and you need to look it up, it is called the AI dilemma. And if you have seen the Social Dilemma docuseries or show on Netflix, these are the same guys that did that also are given this presentation. It's about an hour. And I guarantee you, once you start listening, it's hard to stop watching it. But I got about 20 more minutes left, and I'm going to finish it when I get back inside. But I felt the need to do the podcast because of what I was thinking about and what was being related to through their presentation was the variables of AI, like the pros and the cons, and what's really happening. And they brought up first contact with AI, was when we had social platforms. And that's when it first was entangling itself with us and learning from us and stimulating. Like, for instance, when you scroll through TikTok or Facebook or any platform, it reads your stimulation from facial recognition, and it can figure out what to do to stimulate your brain. And when you think about that's the first contact. You think about alien movies where you listen to me, folks. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Because, okay, the idea of artificial intelligence, a machine with a brain or whatever, okay, is as simplistic as it can be put, right? Try to imagine what energy that must harness in that to produce a being of its own. It's like if we created the alien on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't come from anywhere. It's something that we created as a human race. The alien that has completely covered the entire planet. This invisible force of the internet that it uses to connect everybody. And it is a social, world-changing thing. And we've been going through it for a couple of decades. Well, 3, actually. And it's amazing. Because you are that if you've been alive longer than 40 plus years, you are the last generation to live before the the appearance of I don't know, you may have been living during that time, the incubation of when the aliens truly landed. Because you could really retrace it back to like the 50s. You could look at Aztec temples, and it's just always existed. So to just throw aside that, are we alone? No. I mean, you can't throw that. You can't say yes. You can't say yes to that question. Are we alone in this universe? No, we are not. And are we all connected? Obviously. And I mean, it's an energy. Energy exists everywhere in the universe in various forms that we haven't even thought of yet or even discovered. But here on our little planet, we are surrounded by an energy force called the internet, and it's something that we created, and it could never probably be turned off. Now, it could. Mother Nature does rule all, and if every power source gets turned off at one time. I mean, it's infallible, but it could happen. I mean, this planet, never underestimate Mother Earth, okay? The energy that the other energy really truly feeds off of. No matter what exists on this planet, it will always feed off the natural energy that already existed and has been for millions and billions of years. And that is the mind-boggling effect that you are so special to be living in a time of great change. It's almost like being at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, which is why I bring that up so much, because we just caught the tail end of that. That's what this was all built off of, though. So the ultimate plan of industrializing the world to the point where you have a world of voluntarily being slaves as long as you got a paying wage to do jobs that you would have never dreamed of ever doing when you were a kid, okay? And to make a living, which, by the way, folks, is the kind of point of life for most of us, right? We all live by the almighty dollar. And I was talking about that last night, about the reason why we don't have a society that pushes to make sure everyone's taken care of, and then it becomes politicized into, well, it's communism. Forget the communism, what politics call it today. Could you imagine a society where everybody just got up and did what they were supposed to do the whole time? And it was like watching the Woodstock documentaries from 1969 and versus 1999. If you watch either one of those documentaries, you will see a time where people worked together, you know, by themselves. They gathered food, they prepared plates, they made sure everything was a great life-changing event. Where it could show people can do this without fighting. And then if you watch the documentary from 1999, and the clear, stark difference was that was a spontaneous, put together, everybody came together and made it happen event. You know, big people and little people all came together to do one big festival, to do what for freedom, you know, peace, love, and all that. And you hear how I said that, because it was so drained out on us that it got turned into a fad that everybody got tired of. Brilliant brainwashing methods. Never forgot the whole point that we were coming together as a people, you know, that we were living outside of regulations and just being free in who we wanted to be. That was the bigger point. Then it's made into a joke, so people laugh it off, because by 1999 it was completely monetized. That's the word we like to use here on the podcast, monetized. It was monetized to the point where by the end of it, the people burnt the entire place to the ground. And no offense, but because they were chasing the almighty dollar, the music they put on only inspired the very reactions of the very people that showed up to this event in 1999. It's called Trainwreck for a reason, and I really love it because it definitely shows how people hate corporate greed and how the monetization of something that means a lot, you know, you take away that meaning and put a bunch of money in its place, then people who come for the vibe, the energy, that's, you know, you create that energy as an event. And so it's obvious 1999, in my opinion, was very justified. And I don't mind saying that. I know it was tragic and a lot of bad things happened, but that's what you get when you put on an event based on what is completely opposite of what 1969 Woodstock represented it. So it was like taking like bizarro worlds, like complete alternate ends. And that shows you what the corporate greed plan of America and the world. Forget America. Corporations exist internationally now. So that is why I am so against corporate greed, because it's not just here that we deal with it, but it's something that gets pushed in every other country through not politics, but through your job. If you want to make your money and have your nice cable TV and, streaming service, you got to have the internet, right? You need 1 gig. You can't have just fucking low running internet. You got to be able to stream all the stuff that you want to watch. And then, the electricity, you have, water. You got to pay the rent or the mortgage, whichever one you want to call it, by the way. Don't forget about making that car payment or the insurance for that car payment. And of course, you got to pay the cell phone bill. You gotta pay the cell phone bill. That's your lifeline to the virtual world that we're all needing to have to even do our jobs today. So it's not like the internet is a luxury item. It is a utility bill. Oh, wait a minute. Car insurance. Gotta have car insurance. You gotta have, wait a minute. I hadn't even worked in the idea that I need to have, gas to run these vehicles. And, I gotta eat. Yes, I gotta eat. And at some point in the next year or two, I need to buy another pair of shoes. So, it's just, that's life. And it all gets narrated. And I bet $100 because I brought up that I need a pair of shoes, that I guarantee you when I go through my Twitter or my Facebook that I'm going to get ads or ideas or jokes or something in reference to shoes. And that is how the AI model works. If you are invested, you go down a rabbit hole. For example, here's a nice little rabbit hole for you to all ingest. Because of this wonderful little YouTube special I was watching, the AI Dilemma, it really brought to mind the Matrix trilogy or the Matrix movies. There is 4. And then, of course, the endless Terminator films. Okay. Both, by the way, are products of a black woman from the mid-'80s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even the late 70s, books that she has written. It may even go back further than that. But she tried to claim, of course, you're going against big Hollywood, and James Cameron was a legend by this point. And the Wachowski brothers' names are synonymous with the Matrix films. That you don't, let's forget about that. Who deserves credit shit? Because, if she's legit, then because both stories kind of go hand in hand with each other if you think about it. Okay? So, realistically, I kind of fall on the side with the woman, and that she is the creator of the Matrix storyline as well as the Terminator, and somehow they gave credit to James Cameron and the Wachowski brothers, which both are tremendous talents, and I'm not taking away from any of their work. I couldn't imagine anyone else directing the Terminator, much less the Wachowski brothers not having the effect that the Matrix movies did on cinema today. As a big movie fan, those two are, even if you took that and said, okay, yeah, well, they were handed the script, said you can claim credit on it. I could see something like that happening and screwing the lady out of the money. So I really do side on that. But the fact is, though, what if she just had a wonderful vision of what the future really could be like? One of the things they mentioned in this little documentary that I was listening to and watching, like I said, is very visually stimulating as well as a presentation. But one thing that I found fascinating is that it can stimulate what you think. Like the AI can watch you and basically read your mind. Like if you watch something like a bird lands on the ground, I see it land on the ground, I don't say anything. It watches me and then puts out a sentence. I see a bird land on the ground. It repeats exactly what you just said in your head. Think about that one for a minute, folks. And they brought up the idea that that's a responsibility. When you invent new technology, responsibilities that you've never had to encounter before, like protecting thoughts. Could you imagine that? Or can you imagine that? Because it's really happening. I mean, they're talking about AI that exists this year, like now. And by the way, this just came out March 9th. So this is like less than, a little over a month old, almost 2 months old. Okay, so it's fairly new information, and they talk about things that have happened currently. So I really suggest, and I urgently say, go to YouTube and look up the AI dilemma. It's two guys. It's by the Center of the Human Technology Department. So it's a legit stand-up thing. It's not a put-together whatever rabbit hole thing. But the rabbit hole I want you to go down to is find out the real true creators of the Matrix and Terminator films, the original storyline, I guess, and look up that rabbit hole. That's a fun one. But I'm going to side with the lady. I have to. I think that she's just too legit. She knows too much, and yeah, those two stories do kind of go hand in hand, and they do kind of simulate together, really, if you think about it. Because when you really watch the films and you know the storyline, I mean, they show like the battle on Earth and humans just running around. I was like, wow, it does look like Terminator. Oh, wow, wait a minute. Yeah, the Matrix and Terminator are kind of connected. Fascinating. Even makes me love the film series even more. It makes me think they should do a crossover movie. That would bomb. That would be like the bomb, the big bad bomb right there. You know, I would love to see the Matrix and Terminator series crossover somehow like that. That would be a great storyline. There you go, Hollywood. I gave you one right there. Anyway, folks, I just wanted to do a quick podcast. You know what, folks? I don't know how long the podcast is going to continue past episode 100, but we are approaching it fastly approaching it. We're not fastly approaching shit. I don't move at the speed of light, and I never will. Just stay tuned. Keep those notifications on so you will always get a new update when I, decide to ramble like an idiot, like I am right now, about interesting ideas and things to think about. Instead of worrying about the negativity in the world, go ahead and worry about bigger things. And then when you return, your rubber band effect of brain thinking, because I like digging into deep philosophical things for the simple fact of, at the end of it, I bounce back to reality and I realize, oh, all I got to do is pay the electric bill today. No problem. It's like that problem was a central concern. Now that I've looked and dug into this deep hole of things and where we are and history and the whole meaning of it all, I go, okay, yeah, this ain't nothing. I got this. No stress. I'm actually happy. I'm just paying the electric bill. And I'm not getting beheaded in England because I misspoke to the king or to the wrong person, or I just am the wrong person of the day. Life has evolved to be a great, wonderful thing, and it's really, we're just going through the changes, and it's getting crazier because it's a mental game now. Oh, by the way, it can interpret your dreams as well. They said by next year they'll have the technology to, yeah. So there you go, folks. There is so many, it's Pandora's box. We have literally opened Pandora's box. The question is, and the one thing you have to ask yourself, even by the time you end up watching the rest of this, or the YouTube, AI dilemma. AI, can I say it one more time? The AI dilemma. What can you do? What can you do? I don't know. And the crazy part is, and this is the question you really have to ask yourself, is it already too late? Have we already opened it to the point where we can never close it? Did you know that over half the scientists that I guess they surveyed or whatever, anyway, half the scientists in the world believe that there's a 10% chance that AI would be the end of humanity. So there you go. Have we already opened that door? Are we just at the precipice where we're just, It's entangling with us, getting used to us. The feeling out process. Has the alien made second contact with us this year once AI is fully released? Because that's the part, it's been, well, like I said, you need to watch the 1 hour. Take 1 hour out of your life and watch this. And I guarantee you by the end of it, you will realize where you stand and what's really going on out there and how it's integrated in everything that we use. It's right there in your hand. Analyzed and breaking you down more than any other girlfriend you could ever, all magnified by the millions of times. You know, it's got you more figured out than anything else in the world. It's smarter than you, and it knows more than you. It knows what you're going to say and think before you do. It's amazing. But it's also the scariest thing in the world. Enjoy your time in history, folks, because it is one hell of a ride. So I hope today you enjoy your Friday. And remember, life is really fun and simple. Don't let it get too complicated. Put down the phone from time to time. Engross yourself into a movie. Go outside and take off your shoes and let your feet, your soles of your actual feet, reconnect and touch the true energy that you've been missing in your life. And don't forget, of course, wherever you go, carry that love, tough love, whatever fucking kind of love it is, and laugh along the way in the face of fear and conquer that hate and fear. Because that's the only way to be a conqueror. Other than that, you're just playing the victim.